So, yeah, anyways, we're going to play the Golf Club with Peter Garcin from HP Studios. Tonight he's going to talk to us a little bit about the game, answer questions. So if you guys have something that you want to know about the game, make sure you ask in chat. If he doesn't see it, I'll try and catch it and send it over his way, and we'll see what we can answer. It seems like things are a little smoother now. So we're going to play on Two Rivers Golf Club. It's a 9-hole course, and we'll be able to... Let's see... So is it easiest for me to kick these rivals out or just hop in and then let you join off of us?
Yeah, if you just hop in, I'll just join in.
Okay. No, I don't want to continue. I want to tee off. Damn it. I gotta leave again.
Hello, welcome back.
There you go. Click tee off.
Yeah, I clicked continue instead.
Oh.
So we'll start from scratch. Two Rivers Golf Club. And, yep. Generating. Tee off. Okay. Now we're going to start from scratch. So we're going to let... do you prefer Pete or Peter? What do you...
That doesn't really matter. You can call me Pete. That's
Pete?
cool.
Okay, Pete works. So Pete's going to hop in with us. We're going to talk to him a little bit about the game, about HB Studios, all those fun things. So I'll let you hop in, and just let me know once you've joined, and then we'll go from there.
Yep, so I see it right there, so I'm just going to join. Connecting, I'm joining now.
Okay.
Hopefully, it should say my name live on your stream there. You got some ghosts, but you should see a live version of me as well.
Yeah, right now I've got 2 ghosts of you and 1 of Dan, one of our founders who's played the game on stream a couple times now. Okay.
You might have to change rivals to get to go in there, so...
Yeah, let me hit change rivals.
So if you go
Live
up...
friends.
I think people... Yeah, this feature, so if you use the D-pad, you can navigate up to that little widget there with the scorecard.
Yep. So how do you close that menu once...
You just back out for pressing left on the D-pad.
Okay.
Yeah. We're actually, like I was saying, the guy... There you go, you should see me live friends, so then you can just...
Yeah, I got you added in as a live friend now.
Yeah, so
okay.
That's one of the things we're really working to streamline. Like, the guys are literally working on it right now, is that there's tons of awesome functionality in that little widget, and we want people to be able to get at it easier. So, if you ever go to the scorecard, you should see me now.
Oh, okay. So let's go back to scorecard.
Right around 160.
Yep, okay, now we've got you in there.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, so now...
So for right now, with the multiplayer, everybody kind of takes their turn in at the same time, and you just see their ball data. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. And so and when your friends are on, if your friends are on live at the same time, then they can you can see them doing it live, right? Like I just saw you take that shot there.
Okay.
But one of the things that we found is that I hit the tree. Is that we do need to introduce some kind of turn-based thing, or at least give you the option, as well as giving you more information about what's going on in the round. So we're working on that. Is like when you're playing asynchronously and when you're online with your friends, just getting more information about what they're doing, because right now it's a little bit hard to know exactly what your friends are doing.
Okay.
When you're playing the round, you don't know exactly.
Okay.
So we're looking at ways to introduce turn-based play that works with the model of the game.
Okay.
And then also to make it easier so you can do some of the cool stuff that's available in that widget. Like you can do replays, you can dynamically change which ghosts you're playing against, you can add friends, you can invite them, you can see what course they're playing on and join them instantly. So, but it's kind of buried right now, right? So a lot of the feedback we've had from the early access is that people don't really know that stuff is there and how to play a multiplayer game. And so we're just working to make it sort of so that it's easier. You just don't have to work so hard to get at that stuff.
Okay, so, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I've only played, I think, maybe one full round at this point between a bunch of different little bursts of playing since this weekend. But one of the things we talked about a little before the stream started was it's kind of difficult to get a gauge of how the power of your swing is at this point.
Yeah.
So, like, I've kind of figured out how the shot modification works just from, like, looking at where the markers are at. And it's like, oh, well, they're 68 yards, and I can see in the top right what your carry is going to be. So if you hold L trigger, because I'm using a 360 controller right now, you can kind of adjust how your shot works, and that'll change what your carry is. And that makes it a little easier to dial it in over whatever the default setup is. Is that something you guys are going to kind of tweak out a little bit and make it a little easier to indicate what your shot power is or shot strength with some kind of meter?
So we used to have a meter, but we actually it got turned off one time because of a bug, and we started playing without it, and we liked how immersive it is, and it's a little bit more challenging because it's sort of to think about your shots a little bit more. So right now, I mean, power is largely tied to the animation. So
right.
If you do full backswing, then you get 100% power. If you do sort of half backswing, you're going to get roughly 50% power.
Okay.
The sort of loft adjustment that you're talking about, where you can sort of dial in the distance a bit there, we're definitely still tweaking that because
nice solid birdie on that last hole.
it is quite a hard thing in real life to do to very precisely adjust the loft on your clubs. So we really need to make sure that the penalty is appropriate for taking on something that's as challenging as doing that. So we're still tuning that there, but really it's sort of about course management and club management is really important. So making sure that you pick the right clubs.
Right.
We were just talking about club distances today. Oh man, I screwed that one up. And so and I guess the other thing is you notice paying attention really matters when you're playing the game. So if I'm sort of not really paying attention here to my shots, I just I curved it pretty bad there. So you just get a feel for it after a while. You get using the different shot types, so whether you need to use a flop or normal or whatever, and then putting for sure is really about feel. And then the other thing is on the putting, you can use the L stick to move the marker,
right?
And that will sort of help you.
Well done.
It sort of signals your intent to the game about where you want to be, how much power you want to be putting with. Okay. And so it'll be slightly more forgiving, especially on long putts, if you dial in with the markers. So those are some of the tricks, I guess, to controlling the power. But we really tried to make it about feel, right? So we wanted to make it so that you're not. What happens when you get the meter is you're not paying attention to the game, and you're not really paying attention to your shot. You're just watching the little zones on the meter. Right,
that makes sense. So with the meter, was that something that was always kind of right now? So I'm playing. I know you can swap the stick configuration, but I'm playing with the right stick as your swing. Did you guys have something like a 3-button press kind of swing mechanic in at one point? And decided that wasn't really the way you wanted to go, or
no? We never did have it. We never had a swing button, but we did have attached to the sort of right stick or left stick power. You could see a meter filling up. And you could see if you wanted to hit it this much distance, there was a little pin that you had to hit when you filled it up.
Okay,
and it just sort of it does take quite a lot of the challenge out of it. So nice you can see that we're on the same hole now. I think. So.
Okay, yeah, this is actually this is the best I've played this game so far.
You're killing me, I think.
But actually, of all the things, putting is one of the things that is really difficult to get right in a golf game. And of all the things, I think that's the easiest thing to gauge kind of where your power is at. I've had better experience putting in this than pretty much any other golf game I've ever played.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, because we spent a lot of time trying to get the putting to feel right. And it's been a little bit extra tuning since we added... we just recently added green speeds, so in addition to speed based on slope, the different theme types and in the editor you can control the speed of your green. So the alpine courses are a little bit faster by default, and so
Looking good.
Oh, I did not compensate for wind. That was a bad mistake.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, all those things up
Nice
there,
approach.
your carry
10
distance
footer
and stuff,
here.
they
I
do
think
not
we
take
can
into account wind or elevation or stuff like that, right? So, or
Right.
lie. So, yeah, you're killing me. I'm plus
Almost
3
got
right
that
now.
birdie.
Holy-
Maybe next time. All
Yeah.
right, short little putt for you here.
Yeah,
Let's get out of here.
So, oh crap! Just whatever I was gonna say just went out of my head.
So,
Oh no,
at 3
the
under
reading
left.
your greens seems to be, especially with that grid. Like in my head, still the pinnacle of golf games because I'm a giant nerd for this game is Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Of every golf game I've ever played, the GameCube version of Mario Golf is still like in my head,
All right.
the big
Let's let
standout.
her rip.
But the green grid system, or the green grid system you guys have is it's similar to that, but it's a little more nuanced than their like red, white, blue, very fast, very slow, and it makes it really easy as someone who enjoys that game to kind of pick up this and immediately get a feel for how the greens are read and how it works.
Well, that's good. We've been doing a little bit of work as well to add a little bit more, even a little bit more nuance to the greens, so that you can really, so that for instance, like those green speeds are taken into account, and you get a little bit more visual information about the contours, because especially some of the courses people create with really complicated and bumpy greens, those. You really need to be able to read those because some of them are really difficult to play.
Right.
And so that's continually being enhanced as well. One of the guys was showing me it, the new version of it tonight. It looked pretty awesome. So
Great. That's excellent. So we had a couple people in chat. Fat Attack 82 asked, how many guys do you actually have working at your studio on this game specifically right now?
on this game right now, there's probably, all told, if you count, artists, programmers, and, various people, it's like maybe about 10 people.
Okay.
Maybe it's it might even be a little bit less, but I think it's about, say, roughly 10 off the top of my head.
Okay, so around 10. Now, is this... I know you guys have done, looking at your back catalog and your portfolio, you've got a pretty big mix of console games. You've got some mobile titles. I know we talked about you've done a lot of the ports for EA to get some of like Tiger Woods. I think I saw you guys did FIFA as well as maybe, is it cricket and rugby are the other ones I've seen you guys work on?
Yeah,
so,
our new rugby game we're working on just got announced today. So
oh, okay, that's awesome. Are you targeting PC for that as well, or?
Yeah, PC, PS4, Xbox One, PS3, 360, Vita. It's on like everything. Yeah, it's coming out this fall. Okay,
so with this game, why did you guys decide suddenly? There hasn't been a PC golf game that's good for a long time. What made you decide? We're going to make a golf game and we're going to make it able to procedurally generate courses, and we're going to target Steam. That's a big leap from what you used to do or what you are still doing for other companies. What built up to that decision?
Well, we actually had built a team to build a golf game with EA for about a year ago, and then that got canceled. So we had this whole team who's sitting there spare in the studio. And everybody, there's a lot of guys who are real golf nuts on the team, and everybody was really geared up to work on a golf game. So we were like, well, why don't we try making our own? And we started talking with the different ideas that we wanted to do, like the procedural generation and all that kind of stuff. And we did some prototypes, and it was really pretty cool, and it worked pretty well almost from the beginning. It was quite promising. So then we just, sort of went full blast into it and just kept working on it.
Okay.
And it came together pretty quickly. So, we were playing a golf game that had randomly generated courses within a month kind of thing.
Wow. So really rapid development.
Yeah. And then we were able to that was pretty rough. It didn't have a golf guy. It had just a guy in a T-pose kind of thing playing golf. There was no animation or anything, but it was, it was promising enough for us to just keep working on it, keep pushing it forward. And for a long time we weren't even sure we would be able to get a fully functional course editor that would allow you to sculpt terrain and place objects and everything, because we thought, I just don't know if we'll be able to make, it just might be too complicated. There's a lot of nuances to making golf courses.
Okay.
But well, it was another thing where we prototyped it for a while and we lived with it, and we were like, oh, actually, this is really, really usable. So it just kind of built on itself, the momentum of people playing it. Am I gonna hit the water?
What hole are you on?
I gotta see. I'm on hole 7, so I'm 1 hole behind you.
Yeah, I just got into hole 8 now. This is. I hope it's not as bad as hole 8 on Little. Is it Littlebrook Manor? Is that the other one?
That one's killer.
That 8th hole, I went from 3 under to 3 over on that 1 hole because I just hit that bunker right before the lake and could not. I had to putt my way out of the bunker back to the fairway just to get over that lake. That hole is murder.
Yeah, our producer Anthony, who he designed that course, and he claims it's the easiest hole in the course, but I'm like, you're crazy, man. It kills me every time that hole 8 on Littlebrook Manor. You're in the rough here.
Having played it a couple times now, I think I know what the strategy is. I think I just need to I need to dial my shot back off the tee so I don't hit that bunker, and then it would be fine. But only if we play that hole 2 or 3 times. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna just nail it. It'll be fine. And then you're in the sand and you're doomed. That's just how that hole is gonna go if you hit that bunker.
Terrible round here. I'm like plus 6 or something, plus 3.
This is the single best round of this game I've played. I'm at like 6 under right now. So I know that obviously the course creator is a big focus for you guys, and you're on Steam now. Is it something you're thinking about doing where you're going to integrate workshop support where people will be able to share golfers or courses, or is it all going to be through a proprietary system you guys are developing?
Well, we're definitely thinking about it. I mean, right now we're just like, we're really focused on, getting the initial version out there and getting, we just launched the early access, so we're spending a lot of time doing support and patches for people. Believe me, people, if you have it, everybody's reading the forums religiously and making notes of all the issues and working really, really hard to address all those issues, especially like performance issues and stuff like that. So
it plays incredibly well for an early access game. Like it definitely is a little resource heavy. I think this is the hardest my PC has had to work while streaming in quite a while, but it plays really well. It seems there's a lot of love in the game, and there's a lot of passion behind it, and the polish is very evident even for an early access title.
Well, that's great. That it comes through, because we've definitely, we've been polishing and tuning the game for quite a long time. But there's still, all that performance stuff. One of the reasons that one of our engineers was saying that the performance people's PCs are working hard is we don't have on PC we don't have the VSync set up, so sometimes your PC is probably pretty easily maxing out your GPU.
Right.
The thing that a lot of people are running into is that we do require DirectX 11 cards to run the game.
Oh, okay.
That's because we use a lot of compute shaders. So, for instance, like on PS4 and Xbox One, which the game is coming out for soon, we leverage that stuff pretty heavily to get good performance. And so, for instance, like the clouds, we have like real atmospheric modeling. So, like the atmosphere, it's a real atmosphere. It's not a skybox, and those clouds are like real. They're like, when clouds go in front of the sun, they cast real shadows, and they have density, and they scatter the light appropriately. So it's pretty crazy and hardcore, but that's all done with a compute shader. And then a lot of the course generation stuff, the reason it's so fast and we don't have huge loading times, you have to wait for like 5 minutes while it generates a course, is that it's all done through compute units. So
okay,
but that means that you had to have DirectX 11, so because it's not supported in DirectX 10. Ooh, I overshot that. So
you said it took about a month to have kind of a prototype that you guys were happy with and wanted to pursue. How long has the game been in development now?
About a year, say.
About a year.
So, yeah, we started about a year ago, and, it hasn't had a huge team on it at all times. It's sort of varied in size, and, we've just been continually adding. It's definitely, bigger than we initially thought. Like I was saying, at first we didn't know whether we would have an editor for the course editor. We thought just procedural generation, right?
Sure.
It would just be that where you move some dials and it generates a course for you.
Right.
And maybe you can tweak a few things, but not like, the kind of super detail that we have now. So
yeah, it seems that's honestly what I'm most excited about, aside from the fact that there's a good golf game on PC again. That you can just kind of plunk down 18 holes if you want to, or if you really were into like the crafting aspect, you could go in and recreate Pebble Beach or make your own custom course and have the very minute details that you can modify at any time, and that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, and you should be, the goal that we had was that you could create anything you wanted. Like if you could create your local course or whatever,
right,
and be able to craft that, and I'd say we're pretty close to that. We've had, I think since we launched, there's been over 1,000 courses created. Wow. So, that's only was like about 2 weeks ago, I guess, that we launched on early access.
Right.
So,
so RoboJeff in chat has asked, what do you guys see the system requirements for the game being?
Well, I mean, ultimately, we want to get it as low as we possibly can. I don't think that in the immediate term that DX10 is in the cards. Long term, I think we will probably, we'll try to support that. But it's like really, it's quite a lot of work because all the compute stuff has to be ported. So
sure,
it's going to be DX11, but we want to get it as low as possible. Like, I think that one of the things that once we have a proper in-game setting screen, because it is early access, and you can control, like you can customize some of your controls, you can turn on VSync, you can control depth of field and anti-aliasing and all the stuff that's kind of like chosen for you. We only have like 3 quality settings right now: low, medium, high.
Right.
So once we're to a point where you can sort of customize, the usual stuff, and you can choose which resolution you're using and find the one that works best for the game. Sure. Then I think people will find that performance will massively increase. The other thing is that I think people, because it's procedurally generated, we don't have the kind of control that a lot of games do in terms of draw distances and stuff. So, that's something that we'll probably let people control a little bit. But,
okay.
We have some of these courses will generate 50, 60,000 trees, right? Which have full physics collision on them and everything. And they're all memory at the same time. It's not that's the thing, right? It's not like, in other golf games where it's one hole at a time and it's been crafted and built in a way that is, optimized for the hardware. You go to the course creator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually in the course creator right now.
Yeah, I can see it on the thing. So you look at all those trees and all those mountains and stuff. That's all terrain. That's not like a billboard. So our draw distance is massive. It's 50 kilometers or something like that, in the game.
Okay.
So we have there's sort of a lot of room there for optimization on what gets drawn and what appears on screen and this kind of stuff. And definitely a lot of physics optimization, because everything in the world has physics. So
right,
it's a little bit different, right? Those are some of the prices you pay for having. I can see quite a lot of trees on your screen right now.
Yeah, I have them set to medium, and it still looks like New England in the fall. So
that's you get this whole huge world, and that was when we played a little bit earlier. Even if we're not on the same hole, I can turn around in the world and see you teeing off on the other hole.
Right, I just noticed that in my last hole, one of the guys from stream actually hopped into our game, and I could see him playing a hole off in the distance. I've never seen a golf game that does that.
Yeah, and that's one of the really cool things. That's one of the really cool things about the way that we set it up. Plus, you don't have loading times in between holes, right? You just instantly.
Right.
I had to quit out my game hung. So it's early access.
So what are you guys developing on right now? So you have a base spec kind of listed on Steam, and I'm running a mid-level gaming PC at this point. Do you guys have just a system that's all cranked out, dual Titans, just developing it balls to the wall that way, or are you kind of developing at a lower spec? What's your development setup like?
Most of the guys on the team develop on specs that are close to the consoles, let's say. So their PCs are they have a GPU that's pretty similar to what would be in an Xbox or a PlayStation. So it's actually not a crazy thing. It's not dual or anything like that. It's not a totally crazy setup.
Okay.
So some of the guys have pretty high end cards, but a lot of them are running on sort of, I don't know, average hardware.
Like a mid-level machine, something that wouldn't be totally out of place for someone to own. And
we run, pretty much everybody runs it on high and gets good frame rates. And I mean, we run it in the Unity editor, and you can run it in the window with the editor running and attached to the the debugger and all that kind of stuff, and it still runs pretty good. So
right. Yeah. So here's one thing that I noticed between the course creator and actually playing like a course that's already generated. When I aim, I'm getting this red and white arc that kind of shows where my shot is going to be dialed in at.
Yeah.
Why does that only exist in the generated courses? Why isn't that something that exists in the regular course play?
So it used to exist in the regular course play, but we got a lot of feedback from our beta testers and from playing it over, us play testing it as well, that it kind of it makes it too easy. Like it sort of.
It definitely makes it easier. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I can learn how to play the game in the course creator mode first, and then go play a real course. Exactly,
and one of the reasons we wanted to leave it on the course creator is that. Club distances and knowing distances is really important to designing courses, so we wanted to give you as many aids as possible while you were designing a course and testing it out.
Okay.
So that you can see how far stuff goes and whether it's because sometimes it's easy to design a course where it's like potentially unplayable, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that we.
So, do you guys think you're going to keep that permanently removed, or is it going to be a toggle for people that kind of want a way? Like, I've kind of got it at this point. I get how to dial shots in. But let's say you're just starting. Is it something you would think about enabling as like, oh, is this your first time playing? Maybe you want this feature turned on.
It's a very hotly debated topic every day in the office. What level of aids to turn on? Right now. They're by default they're off, but and they're available in the course creator. But what you see in the early access is pretty close, I think, to what will ship.
Okay.
So
do you guys have a target to get out of early access for release? Is it something like Q4 this year, Q1 next year, or earlier than that, later than that?
Oh, definitely earlier. Our goal has always been to sort of simultaneously ship on all three platforms because we want it to be pretty even experience, especially where with like course creation and having different courses that users are creating. You want them to be all kind of playing on the same version of the game, roughly,
right.
Feature-wise. So. It's obviously we have way more flexibility on PC in terms of what we can ship and when we can ship it and how we can patch it and stuff like that. So I'd say, I don't want to give like a hard date or anything, but sometime this summer you'll see it come into early access, I'd say.
So you said you're targeting 3 platforms. I know you're working on Unity. That makes it a little easier for cross-compiling. Is it going to be strictly a Windows game, or are you thinking about adding OS X or Linux support in addition to things like the PS4 or Xbox One or anything like that?
We absolutely do want to add Linux and Mac support down the road. Like I said, like for instance, like a Mac, doesn't support compute shaders, so we'd have to do the port for that. But
okay.
It's definitely it's on our radar, and there's also obviously things like Steambox and stuff like that,
right?
And the Steam controller and stuff that we want to look into adding. So for us, this is really it's definitely it's not a fire and forget kind of thing. It's not something where we ship the game and walk away. We're really planning to support this for the next while to continually push updates, add features, push content, that kind of thing. And, really build up the ecosystem. So we want to get it, to as many people as possible. And that is, again, one of the benefits of using Unity. So, yeah.
So in terms of long-term support, I know obviously one of the big draws for this is the course creation, where you can have users creating their own courses. Is that something you guys are planning on doing, where you add additional courses post-launch, or that you guys have designed, or show off, highlight community courses, things along those lines?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know if you saw, so you can see in the course of the week,
right?
You look in the, we have the ability to select courses that, sort of curate courses that we find from the community and label them as potentially course of the week. It's not just the official ones. And we'll definitely be pushing more, additional official ones as time goes on. We really want to add more themes as well to the course creator. So, right now there's 3 that are available. We want to add, we've got a desert theme and the links theme, and we want to add like a kind of, all kinds of other possibilities, right? People really want like a tropical one, maybe.
Right.
And then other courses to sort of show those off and support them. But yeah, that's another thing that's high on our list is how do we surface the really good user-generated content? Because, we've already got 1,000 courses.
Right.
How do you
curate that? Like, how do you make that something that's usable?
Exactly. So, we can't necessarily hand curate it. We've got a lot of stuff, a lot of telemetry underneath the hood that we just need to bring into the game. So stuff like if you played courses that are like this, it will try to find courses that are similar to the ones you just played.
Okay.
I see People Theory says lets users rate courses. You already can rate courses, so you actually have to rate a course as soon as you finish it.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically Netflix style. You can change your rating later, but it will remember it forever. So basically you play a course and you can rate it. But then there's all kinds of other kind of logic. There's tons of filters. You can say, show me only my friends' courses. Show me, the ones that my friends have favorited. All this kind of stuff.
Okay.
But there's even more deep stuff that we've got planned to make it so that really the content that is surfaced to you, the content that you find, is stuff you really want to play. Cool. And that's another thing that right now we're trying to help Discovery by either in the next update or the one after. I don't know exactly when this stuff will go in. Is allowing you to see more of your friends' activity, including when they favorite courses and every time they finish a round on a course, so that you can be like, oh look, I just saw that so and so just finished playing Two Rivers. I've never played Two Rivers, but maybe it's good. Or maybe my friend, I saw, he favorited Two Rivers. It must be good. I'm going to go and play it.
Okay.
And so trying to bring some of that stuff to the forefront so that it's easier to find new content in there. And so hopefully all these little things that we keep adding will add up to, making it a better experience to play.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like I know Need for Speed does it with, is it Autolog, I think is what they call it. Whereas if you finish a race, it says something like, here's your best time, or here's so-and-so's best time, try and beat it. So it sounds like you guys are kind of targeting that. Like, I see that, Pete got an eagle on hole 8 on Little Brook, which is impossible. It can't be done. Can you beat that hole?
Exactly. And we have a little bit of that stuff right now, but like I was saying before, it's really buried, and you can, so we're trying to bring that stuff to the forefront and get it sort of more easily understandable and easier to act on as well. So yeah, we have stuff like that. If your friend beats your score, it'll be like, they beat your score on this hole, press A to join now.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So that stuff's all in there and it's coming very, very soon. And to kind of drive you to compete. So that Need for Speed Autolog was definitely a huge inspiration for us because that's, this is a really sort of very community-driven game, I'd say.
Yeah, and actually, so Nipnops in the chat is Dan. He's one of the other guys he's one of the founders for KBMOD, and he actually had played it before I had. And after he'd played it, I said, I'm talking to those guys. That game looks really good. He said, as soon as there is turn-based multiplayer, this is going to be an amazing game for live streamers or people that do live streaming on Twitch. because you'll have the ability, I'm assuming, to set up custom tournaments or things along those lines.
So that's another feature that's definitely coming soon. It's something that we can play inside. You can see it there in the main menu. It says Create Tour. So yeah, you can create your own custom tours and tournaments. So it's sort of like a playlist of courses. So I can go in and say, create, the KBMOD golf tour, and you can go through and find all your favorite courses, add them to the tour, and then put it up for your friends to play. And you can have timed tournaments. So that, say, like this tournament lasts 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to play. You got to play within 4 days and finish the tour. Or you can have perpetual ones where basically you just keep constantly trying to leapfrog each other on that tour. And to try to stay at the top of the leaderboard. And we definitely hear everybody who's saying turn-based multiplayer.
That's good.
And what we're trying to do is, like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to implement a solution that is both like kind of elegant and that works with the model of multiplayer that we have, which is not, you don't have to have a lobby, you don't have to like go and like wait for people and stuff. You have the option to sort of drop in and drop out, and I think we've got a pretty cool solution. So it's coming.
Yeah, the ability to just drop in and out of a match is really nice, where you can just hop in if maybe you only want to play a couple holes, but you see I'm already on a course. You hop in, play 2 or 3, and then hop out when you're done. It's really seamless, and even if it is a little buried right now, it's not difficult once you know what you're looking for to get it set up.
No, exactly, and that's the thing. It's just sort of what it is. It is quite cool, and it's quite seamless to do it, and so we just need to get it up sort of in people's faces a little bit more. So, that's.
So you said that now, obviously, the way that it's set up, you don't have to have a lobby or anything along those lines. Is that something you guys are exploring, where you can say, okay, maybe I want to play with 4 friends, we're going to play a round, we can create a lobby and just wait for everybody to kind of dial in and be ready?
Yeah, or maybe even more seamless than that, where you don't have to have like a kind of like staging area, and you guys can just like, you can do it live on the course, right?
Okay.
And, the same way you can add rivals or on the screen beforehand. There's all kinds of options that we're sort of digging into right now, exactly how that stuff's going to work. But it could be as simple as being, the same way we just did it. You're on the course, you can go add your couple friends, and then go, instead of into an async mode, go say, oh, you know what, we want to play a turn-based game. Boom, you're into a turn-based game now, and it will be seamless, and you will probably, it's still in development, but you'll probably be able to drop out of that as well, so that, even one person, so if one person's like, you know what, I gotta go to work, or, I gotta go walk the dog, they can drop out of the turn-based, and then you guys can continue, and they can come back and catch up with you guys, and it's all gonna be pretty seamless and slick.
So, in the event that would happen, is that something where you're thinking, okay, that user just tops out, and now the group of 4 is now just a group of 3, or does an AI take over at that point, or ghost data?
It would be a group of 3, and then your friend can finish the round later.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and you guys would still be able to finish your thing, and their ghost would catch up.
Oh, that makes sense. All right. This round is the literal exact inverse of my last round, where I have only hit par on the first hole, and I took a 19 on hole 3. That was fantastic. I do like that the game doesn't tell you at 10 strokes, hey, give up. You can just keep swinging until you literally die.
Well, I think that eventually, if you go super far over par, I don't know how many what the limit is, it will say, okay, that's enough, let's just move on. Like it will mercy you kind of thing after.
Yeah, I like the so you said is it John? You said your sound engineer kind of does the voiceover in the regular mode.
Yeah.
I like that he kind of gets bitter if you fuck up a hole. He's like, man, I really thought you were going to get par in that last hole. And it's not that he calls you a dumbass. It's just like you can hear the sadness in his voice. Like, man, you really let me down. I wanted to see that par. He's just the right, like, there's just enough sass in his voice to kind of make you feel bad about being terrible at this golf game.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where we weren't sure. We obviously started out, and John was he did it almost as placeholder, and then we sort of lived with it for a while, And we were like, actually, if we just sort of redid a pass at this with, a slightly more, just a little bit more depth and stuff in the performance, that it would actually be pretty cool. And it has this huge benefit that we can deepen the banks and create way, way more content than we could if we were using out of house talent.
Right.
So, John is reading the forums, or he's playing the game, and he's like, you know what? Like, we're just hearing this sample all the time, or we want to. There's like some cool extra stuff we want to add so that it can talk about it, and then he can just go to. We have a studio in house, and you can just go in the studio, record a whole bunch of samples, and that day they can be in the game, and that's really one of the things we want to be able to do on an ongoing basis when we're talking about continually updating the game, is that a year from now that it'll just be like mind-blowing how deep the banks are going to be. So.
Right. So are you planning on only using your in-house stuff for voiceover work, or some of the, especially like the mod community right now, has been kind of outsourcing that stuff to players, or hey, why don't you send us some voiceover work and we'll see if we like it, and if we like it, maybe we'll throw it in the game. Is this something you guys are contemplating or thinking about?
We're definitely, and like modding is something that we've talked about, and like people are saying about Steam Workshop, that's definitely huge on our radar too, because I think there's just a massive opportunity for community content. We've been talking about how could we possibly potentially let people create objects for the course creator, or all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of technical stuff for around how do you share that stuff, how do people get it, how does it does it work across all the themes, all this kind of thing. So there's lots of potential issues, but it's definitely a thing we're looking into. So you could see that evolve over the coming months and years.
I think the most important thing that we can ask, honestly, is that since Activision is doing it, can we expect a Snoop Dogg voiceover pack DLC like you can get for COD Ghosts? Because I think that would really add something to the game.
That would be amazing. Yeah, we would. If Snoop Dogg wants to do the voiceover, we will get him in the studio and do a pack, Snoop Dogg pack. That would be amazing.
I feel like that would be the weirdest day in a studio making a golf game. Like, just Snoop Dogg rolls up, he's going to do his voiceover, he's high as balls, and no pun intended, and he has to do voiceover work for a golf game. If that happens, please record it and put it on YouTube, or just make it like, I would pay just to see that video of him doing the voiceover work.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that could be the new endorsement, that getting Snoop Dogg to do voiceover for it.
That would be they could just never make a golf game again. This would be the best one of all time at that point.
It would be, yeah.
So I think that's pretty much everything that I have that I kind of was curious about or wanted to know. In the chat, there's going to be a pretty significant delay. But does anybody else from the chat have any questions for Peter, or questions about the game or stuff that's happening with it? I know we've taken some of the questions from the chat. We've both kind of been monitoring it. But if there's anything else you wanted to ask or know, I don't want to keep Peter for 2.5 hours while I just sit here and play generated courses.
Yeah. So have you worked? Shout out to the Maritimes. Yeah. I said up market says shout out to the Maritimes. Shout out back. Yeah. Have you delved pretty deeply into the course creator yet?
No. So far, all I have done is just gone in and kind of set my dials and said, okay, spit out 9 holes or 18 holes, and then tinkered with it. I haven't had time to sit down and really like, hey, here's the golf course that I played as a kid when I took golf lessons. Can I recreate that and go from there? But that is on my list of things to do this weekend.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's a lot of depth in there that you can do. You can create almost everything. There's a few limitations, but right now, they're going away like kind of every day. I see somebody's asking about courses modeled for real life courses. We're hoping that people will create. One of the things we always said was like it'd be amazing if people are creating their local courses in the game. The guys at work are always saying they want to create our local course and be able to play it in the game. So right now we're not planning to have licensed courses, but the courses that are in there that ship with it now, like those ones are all fictional courses like Knoll Down and Two Rivers and stuff like that. So.
Right. So it's the Stacked Deck wants to know, how extensive will the character creator be?
Right now, the character creator lets you change clothes, and you can change we have 6 sort of default avatars, and you can change hats and pants and all that kind of stuff. But more extensive character customization is definitely on our backlog, and is something that sort of probably in a post-release update we would look to build that out, because pretty soon as we get more and more players, people are going to want to be able to differentiate their avatars from their friends and stuff. So we've got sort of enough to start with in there for the very first version, but long term we definitely want more.
There was a question earlier that I can't remember who asked it. Someone had asked if you guys were thinking about first person or Oculus Rift support for the game.
We definitely are considering what the VR possibilities are with this game, and so I can't really say a lot, but it's definitely on our radar, and it's definitely something that we've explored.
Okay.
I've played this game with a virtual reality headset on. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So yeah, no confirmation that yes, we're definitely doing Oculus Rift, but
because it's a little bit more complicated, because you've got to make sure that it's a good experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And that it sort of makes sense in VR and all that kind of stuff. But there's definitely huge potential. I think golf is a really good fit for VR. So, if we can come up with a really compelling experience, we absolutely want to do it.
That makes sense. See, now if you do that, then you have to have a golf cart. I want to be able to drive the cart. That would be excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else in chat have something you kind of wanted to know about or were interested in knowing? Peter has been excellent at answering questions and letting me beat him at golf, so that's been pretty great for me.
There you go. Yeah, that was a legitimate win.
Steam trading cards. That's a solid question.
We're planning for that stuff.
Okay.
We just we're trying to work out a good design for it. We're working on all that kind of stuff, achievements, all that. One of the guys was starting to work on achievements in the studio, and somebody sniffed the Steam API and was like, "Oh my God, they're working on achievements," and had posted on our forums 10 minutes after it went live. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always interesting when the guys that are really into that, they dig deep into what the API does and what it references, and they leak stuff pretty quick as soon as you turn something on. We were watching a video for Watch Dogs at work today, and I happened to hit the Steam page, and I have Enhanced Steam installed on my browser, and I went, hey, one person was playing Watch Dogs today on Steam. Probably not something anybody should have known, but it's on their page.
Yeah, exactly. Testing it out kind of thing, so... I see a couple other ones here. People are saying designing your own clubs. Right now, no plans for designing your own clubs. Although people have definitely talked about that, about being able to control have your sort of own personal set of clubs and club distances.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of kind of breaks the leaderboards a bit, but it might be possible to do it in an offline mode or something, in a sort of unranked fashion. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. Oh, God. I just hooked that really badly. I still ended up on the green. Okay. It worked out. Okay. Well, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you wanted to address, or you wanted to kind of talk about or show off in the game that we didn't cover already?
I think that, right now, like I was saying earlier, the guys are working really hard to sort of continually optimize the game, add new features, and we've been planning to do weekly updates. So I think there's an update going out tomorrow. I don't know for sure what all the stuff that's going in it, but like I said, one thing we're working is to try to surface a lot of the multiplayer stuff and make that a lot easier, make it a much more seamless experience.
Okay.
So yeah, the D-pad is your friend right now. We're looking at moving that off the D-pad to something that's a little bit easier, but that's not all locked down right now. So, but yeah, right now you can use the D-pad to navigate and change rivals, add friends, watch replays, do all kinds of cool stuff, see what your friends are doing on other courses. And then in the course creator, we've got a really good set of videos. So if you go to the HB YouTube channel, there's tutorials on how to do just about everything in the course creator, and they're really, really detailed. And it's a really, really good way to, pretty much anything you'd want to know how to do when building a course. It's on there. So that's another place that people can find info about the game. And then just like if you hit the forums, the guys are really active. They'll probably answer your question pretty quickly. And if you don't get a direct answer right away, know that people are definitely reading it. Somebody reads everything.
So one other question we did get: are you guys thinking about doing a mini golf or a putt mode?
Well, you should be able to you can almost create. I saw somebody creating a mini putt course the other day. It should be possible, or wouldn't it be completely impossible to create a course that was just like putting? I'm pretty sure that I've seen somebody create that. So that's the beauty of having a thing like a course creator, is you can create pretty much anything.
Yeah, it seemed like it would be pretty easy to do like a par 3 or like a chip and putt style course relatively easily. I guess if you completely eliminated your fairways, you could just do like a green setup.
Yeah, and I'm gonna look into that tomorrow, because I don't know if it would force you to chip from the tee onto the green or not.
Okay.
Or whether you could putt directly. So I see somebody's asking about mouse and keyboard. So a lot of people ask this because it's another one of these things where it's not super obvious. Yes, you can play with mouse and keyboard, and if it's not working for you by default, you need to go into settings, and there's a little toggle in there for control. And so you can go into settings in your game, and you can choose toggle between controller or keyboard as the default support. And then once you go to mouse and keyboard, you'll be able to play mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
And the mouse is just like, it's like analog swinging. It works pretty decent. So, and it should work in all the menus. It's not perfect in the course creator, but it's getting better all the time.
Yeah, I'm playing with a controller because I like the way the swing mechanic off the right stick works. But I played about 5 holes, maybe 6 holes with the mouse where you kind of click and drag back and forth. And it was similar to Golden Tee in that respect. It worked. Yeah. It worked okay. I still like the controller a little better, but it was definitely playable that way.
Yeah, and we're continually tuning that. That's one of the things that it went in a lot later than the controller thing. So we really want it to be eventually on par. So and we want it to be laptop friendly and all this kind of stuff. So it's going to continually get better. So if you like to play with keyboard and mouse, play with keyboard and mouse, and give us feedback. So with the laptop, is a trackpad supported then? You should be able to play with a trackpad. Yep.
I can't imagine that would be the best way to play this game.
It probably not, but we want to get it to a point where it's like feasible to play with a trackpad. So, I see something about true mod support. User created assets can be added. Like I said earlier, we're definitely looking at it. It's not a near term thing, but down the road, oh man, that was a good. I don't know if your thing is lagged. That was pretty close. You almost got.
Yeah, that would have been the best shot of the night if I had managed to chip that in from the fairway.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that was a really good shot. So yeah, maybe long term we'll be able to get assets in the game.
Okay.
I think that's pretty
So, I mean, I've stolen you about an hour of your time this evening. I know you guys are super busy with the game, so I'll let you go. But thank you so much for coming out and talking with us about the game, kind of letting us show it off, playing with us, and letting me win. That was really nice of you. But we do have a copy to give away, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to windowed mode real quick so the game stays up. Or it could just do that and freak out instead. That would be fine, too. But I have it in Notepad here, and I'm just going to turn on the layer that I have. So we have one copy to give away. This is from HB Studios. They were nice enough to give us a key. I'm going to put it up in the middle of the screen now. You will have to type it into Steam, but here you go. Where did my Notepad go now? There it is. Okay, so there is your free copy of the Golf Club to the first person who can get it. Just punch that into Steam.
Race going to Steam.
Yeah, the 20 people or 60 people are now frantically typing into the Steam add a game. So if you do claim it, let us know, and then we'll know who managed to snag a copy of it. But other than that, Peter, thanks again for coming out. We're really looking forward to seeing more of the game and more from you guys, especially. If you wanted to come back and do it again whenever you guys are ready to launch, we'd love to have you back.
For sure, yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks for having us on. It was fun to play around. It's I'm glad it worked.
Yeah, me too.
and yeah, it's we've been really excited about how people reacted to the game. It's been pretty great response, and so we're just excited to keep making it better and get it in more people's hands and see what people come up with, because that's like part of the fun is just seeing what people are creating. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Peter. I really appreciate you coming out, and we look forward to seeing more and talking to you more soon.
All right. See you later.
Have a great night.
You too.